Hi children, good morning, good to see you and see you virtually. And very soon we should be seeing you physically here. To some of you, this paranoia of the COVID-19 is eating up and the education is lacking. We are preparing everything possible and we need to have a little bit more courage to come down with the precautions. After all, I noticed today more and more people are going out to the places like Phoenix Mall and all that. Take out a little time and concentrate on this development of this self-knowledge, because time is running out and the month of May is coming up, particularly those who are the senior children, the 9, 10, 11, 12 children, because you are going to break the record again. The last result, because of the power of the Vedanta, each one of you students awakened yourself, the power from within, and look at the powerful result that you created. You would be amazed to hear almost every other IB school were asking us, what is it that you're doing? IB, on their evaluation visit, has written it down to the school. What is it that we are doing? What are those standards and practices that we follow which are different in our children? You children are different because you got great parents. I suppose there are great parents everywhere, in every country. But along with the great parent, you awaken because of the power of Vedanta and something else from within, which is what is making you, that determination, that fire, that becoming that lion-like. Remember, one lion can rule the world, not millions of sheep. And I love to see the way you all are taking the journey. Last time, the assessment of the 2020-21, 13th of March school closed down, and examinations were end of May, and notice no connection with the teacher other than computer and mobile. And you all did very well, brilliantly well, brilliantly well. And all IB schools were cribbing about the result, whereas you guys went ahead, girls, boys, you went ahead and showed that you are the one who's doing it. And this you is what Swami Vivekananda talked about. It is his birthday as per the English calendar tomorrow, and that's why I want you to, I'm sending a letter to each one of you, all of you parents, young parent, and all parents are young, and senior parents who've been with us for a long time as senior, also a little maybe younger than the younger parent. So please, I would like you to focus your mind, discuss with your family, children, write something on Swami Vivekananda, on Vedanta. How, whatever you know, it doesn't matter if you don't know anything. Pick up something, focus your mind, you'll be surprised. You're the hoards of knowledge, you're a wealth of knowledge. There's a beautiful poem, Alice E. Chase reminds me. She says, caskets of jewels and coffers of gold you may have. She's telling to the other children, caskets of jewels and coffers of gold you may have, but richer than I you can never be, because I have a mother who reads to me. So dear mom, continue to do that even when the children have grown up, and participate. Supposing some moms are not very comfortable with reading because of our education system, make sure we hate reading, make sure we hate writing. And this is what the change Swami Vivekananda wanted to be brought to the whole country. He had a vision of a new reformed India, and I am remembering every word of it, and some of the things I would like to tell you. I've written a little bit, I'm sending it to all of you. Have a look at it. Discover the India. Discover the India in you. You may be a foreigner, you may be, but discover that humanity, which is what India is talking about. Discover that spiritual power which is within you. And it's enormous, it's gigantic. You know, The power which is within you is what our kids did the discovery during the last 10 MYP5 and DP2 final examination, is that power from within. And I was so delighted to hear some of you children who did brilliantly well. I will happen to be talking to them. I would love to. I know each one of you have got that thing. You got it. Otherwise you could not have done it. Tanishka, who topped the world topper, the Times of India group was asking, I was there, I asked her the same thing. I said, tell me, what is your strength? You're a world topper today. And Tanishka went ahead and said, my strength is I do not tell lies. I want you to understand this. This is the power, the truth. You know, there is one lady, she was a New York socialist who met Swami Vivekananda 1894. As you recollect, Swami Vivekananda was not even going to America, but he came to know that there is a world religion conference, the world is getting together, world is wanting to know what should we do. So Swami Vivekananda saw in his vision that Paramahamsa Ramakrishna is walking across the ocean towards America. He thought it must be a dream. He didn't understand it very well. So he wrote one letter to the Holy Mother, the consort, the wife of Paramahamsa Ramakrishna. They were husband and wife, but with no physical relationship at all. And this is a divine union. And this Holy Mother, she received the letter asking, Vivekananda is asking, should I go? What should I do? What is your point? And she is the one who said, you must go and take this message across to the Western world. 1893, 11th of September, what kind of toughness he went through. It's amazing. He landed up, somebody stole his passport, somebody stole all his money. He didn't have anything. And you know, I followed that track. I followed where he went in Chicago, which is that garden, you know, in the garden itself, he didn't have any place to live. He didn't have any money to hire a hotel. He didn't have any friends. He didn't know anybody. He prayed to his guru and prayed to God. And he went, there was a fruit seller. He had a stall which is closed, and naturally old fruit baskets were lying next to it for them to utilize it. He went inside that basket because it was cold, and Chicago cold was very cold. He didn't have warm clothes either. He wrapped himself with the clothes, with the straws and all. That's the condition. In the foreign countries, particularly in America, you cannot have hobos moving around. You know, hobos like beggar, just moving around. They're called hobos. Aimless people. So if somebody is found, police comes and catches them and takes them to the jail. There is a lady across the park. She saw that there is a man there and he's kind of in the fruit basket early in the morning. Strangely, instead of calling the police, she came out from her down, came across the road and came to him and saw him. He had his turban and he had dresses. She could make out that she asked him, are you from India? And he said, yes, mother. And she said, come with me, I will take care of you. Instead of reporting to the police, she took him to her home. And you know what? He had lost his invitation paper, his passports, everything was lost. Her husband, just see how the connections happen when you have the power within and when you are connected with the supreme unified field, God consciousness, Divine Mother consciousness, whatever the name you call. Many of you say, I don't believe in this God. What is this God? Hands and 10 heads and 20 hands and a little stone. There is one prince asked Vivekananda, what is this? You all are worship and your guru worships Mother Kali, a statue, a stone. What is this? I don't believe in this kind of God. He was not a bad prince. He was not being rude. He was genuinely asking this question, maybe in many of you. He asked, what is this? So the Swami Vivekananda, he saw the picture of the queen was hanging in the prince's. In those days, 16th century India was raided by the Britishers. Imagine, India was invaded, lightly getting off the track, invaded from 326 BC before Christ by Alexander the Great. Then Tamerlane, Genghis Khan, Babur, Akbar, Humayun, Aurangzeb, everybody raided. Akbar and some great kings stayed on in India, married in India, and others looted, everybody looted India and took away the wealth, and some of them stayed back. And then came the Portuguese, the Zoroastrian, and then came the French, the Britishers. Britishers and French came around 16th century. I'm talking about in 1894. 1904 is when he met the prince. 1904. He told the prince, so now the effect of the British and the education in the country is very strong. And all these British people wanted to loot from the kingdoms. We had lots of kings. India was, rich with kings, and so the queen's picture was there in the prince's office. The prince, he asked the prince, would you please take down that picture? So prince asked somebody, come down and take the picture. He said, put it there. And then he asked the prince, will you spit on the picture? Spit. He said, what? How can you do that? She is the highness, her highness, the Queen of England. How can I spit on her? So he smiled and he said, that means this picture represents somebody. Similarly, in India, the many castes and religion, they follow that structure represents the supreme power. You may worship that way. You may worship also called Advaita. One alone exists, in which there is no God, no figure. In fact, there is a center which Vivekananda created. Children, parents, you will be happy to know this is in Mayavati. Mayavati in Nainital. And you would be amazed, there is no picture there in that whole ashram. No picture of Paramahansa Ramakrishna, Holy Mother Sarada or Vivekananda, and they meditate over there in nothingness. And that is what the Vedanta's supreme achievement. So, one of the monks who was there in charge of the looking after, what he did not have that vision like Vivekananda had. And he had got Paramahansa Ramakrishna's picture there, and he was worshipping in the traditional style. Vivekananda happened to go there to visit, and he went and saw his own Guru's picture being worshipped. Just think. And he said, oh, old man has got in here also. Just imagine, he's talking about his Guru, and he's saying, old man has got in here also. No picture. This place is without picture. All pictures are in Velur Math. Velur Math is in West Bengal, which is the headquarters, and so are all over the world, particularly Europe and America. You would be amazed. In Harvard today, they have divinity school, and it is a strong subject in the Vedanta. The whole divinity school is studying on Vedanta, Bhagavad Gita, and comparison with Buddha's principles and Christianity and everything put together. But Vedanta is the strongest subject. So, this thing thought about this statue or that, and I don't want to go to the temple, is not really correct. Respect everyone, everything, and particularly don't forget our mother. Our mother is Mother India, Bharat. Bharat is Brahma Jyoti. So I want you all to know a little bit of through this today's talk, present, just telling you a little bit about few incidents. Josephine MacLeod, she was a great socialite in New York. And Vivekananda in 1894, 93, 11th of September in Chicago, he gave the talk. For the first time, India was in the world map because nobody, all they knew in India was that we train snakes and we sleep on nail of bed. This is how the TV used to tell, the Western world TV, to the world. You'll be amazed. When I visited America, that was 1981, okay? And I went for the special flying training and qualifying for the Federal Aviation Authority to become an instructor worldwide. That was the American certificate which is valid everywhere else in the world. Air Force, from the Air Force, I was that time in the Air Force. And there I met a gentleman who was working in one of the top engineering company, and he is an Indian. He has been in America for about 32, 33 years at that time, that point of time. Can you imagine? The same Indian gentleman is telling me, yeah, I know you, that is, he's telling me, you all sleep in the bed of nail, tigers are all around, you have to be careful when you come out, maybe in the corner of the road there is a tiger waiting, and snakes and scorpions are everywhere. This is the image which was presented everywhere. Vivekananda brought India into the world map, that it is not that, it is the powerhouse of the supreme knowledge of the Vedanta, which is what we are doing here right now. IB, powerful Western science of education, coupled with Vedanta. And you know whose idea was it? It's Vivekananda's idea. And it is given in many places, including this little book, Education for Character. He brought it in this, and he's talked about it. He says, what we want, if you want to have good character, if you want to be very successful in life, why character? If you want to be successful, you need to have good character. Just think, boys and girls, who would you like a good friend? Somebody who is reliable or who always tells lies? Somebody who is loyal to you, to your friendship, can do nothing without you and them being in line and together, or somebody who cheats on you. And this is Josephine McLeod, the socialite at that time, 1894, invited Vivekananda to New York. And Vivekananda talked about New York is filled with people who once they start something, never give up. He said this first sentence. Second, he says New York is the purse of America, money bank of America. And third, he says in New York is a culmination of all people, but they're all living together with liberty, with the power of the education for women and men. He admired the freedom of the women and the men in America. And this is what he wanted to create, the new India, education. You know, Josephine McLeod says, I have met in my life many great people. I have met Tsar of Russia. And when I met him, she says, I found myself to be so insignificantly small, and Tsar was so great a personality, an emperor, king of Russia. I felt insignificantly so small. Josephine McLeod came with her sister in 1894, invited him, Vivekananda, to New York and went to attend his talk. She met him after the talk, and she says that, you know, after meeting Vivekananda, I saw he is so great. And then I realized I too am great. The Vivekananda spread energy and power to everyone. And this is what I'm wanting every one of us, parents, senior parents, younger children, you need to realize the power is within. See, what is the message of Vedanta? Can you eat if you have not digested your food and if you're not feeling light and hungry? You will not. No doctor can force feed you. Can you breathe if somebody puts an oxygen mask and you need to breathe? Can you breathe if you do not breathe from inside? You have to breathe from inside, you have to eat from inside. So Vivekananda's message through the Vedanta The power to win is inside from you. You need to make the call. You make to decide. He goes ahead and says somewhere, if you say, I can't, he says, you're right. And he goes on to say, if you say, I can, he said, you are right too. So which one should we choose? And this is the reason why we have brought Vedanta. What is the essence of Vedanta? Vedanta is talking about, it's the world outside. What we are doing today, influenced by the Western world, is running out. So notice, most of us are today leaving our country, going across to the world and earn money and become rich and getting affluence and feeling the attraction towards the Western culture, Western way of living, Western way of, ruling our life. There's nothing wrong in that. I'm not condemning that. I am wanting to say, neither is Vivekananda condemning. He said great power in the Western world. But he says what? What we want are Western science. So we need Western science. IB, that's why we brought in. Couple it with Vedanta. Don't forget your ancient rich heritage of Vedanta. Which tells what? It's not out there. It's in you. Like the food, like the bread, it's from inside. You have to make the choice. So one lion. Lion is what? Lion-hearted. Lion is not muscle and eating up something. Lion meaning, you know you can do it. You have the power. What is the metaphor again? The sheep. Sheep are bleating and eating grass and they're just being eaten away. Either human beings are eating or the lions and tigers are eating them. Sheep is just being tortured. Don't be the sheep. Be someone. And this is the message of Vedanta. Josephine McLeod's statement goes ahead and she goes on to say, first lecture I heard from Swami Vivekananda, he talked about truth. Second lecture, third lecture, fourth lecture, all of them he emphasized on the power of truth in our life. And this is why our India has Ashok Stamba written Satyameva Jayate, and it is from Mandakya Upanishad. Satyameva Jayate. Truth shall alone win. Hold on to that truth, children. And I was beautifully, powerfully happy to hear Tanishka Shah saying, my strength is I do not tell lies. I was very beautifully energized to hear Tasneem Gujrawala, who stood just for 1 mark, didn't become the world topper, scored 44 out of 45 on DP2. And Tasneem said something beautiful, and many of you younger guys, I haven't met you, please come and meet me, talk to me. What are your power, what are your strength? She said, I'm going to take 1 year break, sir. I said, okay, what are you going to do? She said, sir, what I have got in this school from my 5-6 months of age, I want to go down to the schools and colleges and NGOs and show it to them what I have learned and tell them the power of the truth and the activity. I also want to spend this time in accelerating I am very good in sports. Imagine, she has developed her sports skills so much, she said, I want to excel in that too. So look at this. These children who are doing well, they have got that from within. So my message to you is study. Sure, the world of books, world of knowledge, the computer, the digitization, go ahead, the Western art thing. But don't forget you. And you are the most important person. Y-O-U. Recognize that. So children, the message of India, Bharat, Brahma Jyoti. You know what does Bharat mean? Bha is Brahma Jyoti. Rata means those who are immersed in that Brahma Jyoti. Where is it? It's inside of us. It's not out there. It's within us. And true education is awakening that power within the woman, the girls, and the men, and the young boys like you to say, I can. Opening that lock. The secret power is within us, opening that lock, knowing. What did he say? Arise, awake. Telling India, a new India is coming up. As per Bhagavad Gita, God talks with Arjuna, written by Paramahansa Yogananda. God talks with Arjuna. In page 246, chapter 2, verse 31, he goes ahead and says, he's quoting one of the top British author and top historian and also the American writers. And they're saying, India that conquered would conquer her conquerors. Conquerors meaning Alexander the Great, the Mughal brigades, Tamilong, Genghis Khan, the British, French, the Portuguese. That means the whole world. We are going to win all over them. And in the 21st century, he's quoting it, I have no doubt. Who's going to do it? It's you. You're going to do it. Our time is gone. We're only in an apple seed. You all are beautiful seeds of varieties of great fruit. Is a metaphor, it's just an example. Apple seed, if I plant it in the right soil and put right manure, water, sunshine, take care, it is going to produce a great tree and great apples. You are that seed. If you cut an apple and count, you can count how many seeds are there, 10, 15. But can you count how many apples are there in one seed? That's the possibility of you, children, young parents, and senior parents. You all are the future. I noticed today, the more and more Indians who have gone abroad, who are living there, realize, which we did not realize being here, after going there, realize how powerful we Indians are. And they are more and more are coming back to India, and those who are still staying, they are earning for the country and remembering and keeping a link. I've stayed for a long time in the US and traveled around Europe and most of them. I'm a world traveler, I love to travel. I notice the Indians abroad are following more Indian values than the Indians in India. You and I need to wake up and couple both. It's not one Europe, one India, it's the world. Make the world as one place. And India is going to rule and surge ahead as per the prediction by Bhagavad Gita, by Vivekananda. You'll be amazed. Google it. Shift is happening by Bill Gates. He's saying a 34-year-old men and women would rule the world economy in 2028. Please study it. So it's going to happen, children. You're the guys who are going to do it. And this power is awakening. This is what it means. Arise and awake. See, we were tormented by the invaders. Why? Because we were the richest in the world. But today we were not. But now India is rising. Notice, Bapu Gandhi, the father of India, a great personality. He talks about his strength. What for which India became independent came from Vivekananda. Today Narendra Modi ji, he's talking about his strength is from Vivekananda. Understand, study. Vivekananda is not a person, is not a religion. Vedanta can be studied by anyone. Anyone. It could be of any religion. It's not a religion. It's like maths. It's like physics. It's knowing about you. My recommendation today is discover your own self. The truth which is within you. I wish you good luck, children. Let's see. Come on. Do something. Recollect something. Understand what is Vedanta. Understanding what is Vivekananda's message. For tomorrow, send it. And we are going to do a special celebration. Whoever wins. We have announced the money is not important, but it's a mark of kind of our respect for the effort that you take. The first prize to the parent. Parent and children are going to participate together. And teachers and staff are separate. So that the parent and the children together, let children write themselves. No help from the parent. And I know you don't do it. Our children, that's why so special. Parent, you can write. And we are going to judge. The first award will be of a small amount of 3,000 rupees. It's the mark of honor. Second will be 2,000 and third will be 1,000 rupees. And this award will be given on 26th of January. So there are two groups. Please welcome. Write anything. Your understanding of Vedanta, your understanding of how it is important, Why is it Harvard School is studying it today and the world over to the Vedanta school and centers? And write about what you think about who is this Vivekananda. With a very special prayer, and thank you for being together and listening to this message.